29th of June, Sunday the 29th of June, is celebrated worldwide as the International Scleroderma Day. I'm sure you wondered, what is scleroderma? What's this woman saying? We'll get into that later as we go on. But this year's theme is stories of strength, and we're shining a much needed spotlight on a condition that many know so little about, yet there are quite a number of us that live with it every single day. On this show, like I said earlier, we'll be joined by brave patients, warriors, conquerors who live or have lived with scleroderma, this rare and often misunderstood disease. So today it's about courage, it's about awareness, it's about education, and above all, it's about hope. Stay with us as we unfold these stories of strength. And of course, you can join the conversations via our phone lines or social media handles. And our phone lines are 07000 917 917 and 09155 917 917. Like I said today, we're marking International Scleroderma Day. Now, what's scleroderma? I'll just give a brief intro before we go into the stories. Now, scleroderma is a chronic autoimmune condition. And what's an autoimmune condition? We all know that we have an immune system, and our immune system is supposed to protect our body from invaders, from disease and whatever. It's there like the military, the army. They help to protect our bodies. But there are situations where the army and the immune system, which is the army of the body, turns against the body, is deceived and starts to attack the body. So that's what an autoimmune condition is. And scleroderma, it's a chronic one that hardens the skin and can affect internal organs. Now, mind you, it's not contagious. It's not always visible, but most times visible. And certainly it's not just about the skin. Now, it's an emotional condition. It's exhausting. It's misunderstood. But today, we're not talking about the disease per se or the condition per se. We're talking about the people, the warriors, the conquerors, and you will hear from all my guests, who will come to educate us, because the essence of today being World Scleroderma Day is for education, awareness, advocacy, and also to celebrate the people living with this condition. So sit back, open your heart, and join us for an hour of truth, tenderness, and triumph as we share these powerful stories of strength. So I have in the studio today, I have Liz Onuawozuma. I got the name.
No, you did not.
Oh, please introduce yourself.
My name is Elizabeth Onuawozuma.
Yes. And what do you do?
I'm a writer. I'm also a trained journalist, and I'm a craft teacher.
Okay, fine. And then we have also
Sanusi Fauzat Olubukola. I'm a lupus advocate. I have a school, and I also do tours, as in take people out on tours to different parts of the world.
Great. And then also virtually, we have joining us Abiola Shegun Williams. Please, could you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Abiola Shegun Williams, and I am an actress. I'm a writer, producer, director, and a business person.
Thank you so much. And then we have Violet. She's no longer in. Oh, great. Okay. Violet, I think she's even very instrumental in making this condition a bit known, because she's a TikTok content creator, and she's put out her videos so many times, educating people and creating awareness. Okay, let us just start immediately, and I'll take it from I'll start with Abiola Shegun Williams. Can you shortly tell us your personal journey with scleroderma, from diagnosis to living with the condition today?
Okay, I started feeling the symptoms way longer than the diagnosis. I can't say specifically when the symptoms were obvious, but I'd say way back as early as 2010 or 2009 or something. Yeah, the first time I had a sense of something being wrong was in 2009 during the burial of my mother-in-law.
Mm.
And, I was looking at her corpse
Mm.
and tears. I was crying, but the tears were not coming. I didn't understand what was happening.
Mm.
Right. So it was much later I realized that was
A
Sjogren's
symptom.
syndrome,
Yeah.
which is also part of you. You have dry eyes and dry mouth and all of that. But it was a strange thing because I used to be able to cry so easily. And,
Being an actress.
yeah, so I didn't understand what was happening.
Mm.
And then over the years, it became worse. I would experience a lot of fatigue, a lot of exhaustion, which I put down to work.
Mm.
So it got worse in 2014 when I began to see pepper spots on certain parts of my body. And the exhaustion was even much more now than before. And so I went to Harvey Street where the dermatology department of Luth is situated, and the doctors immediately diagnosed it to be scleroderma. Now, at this point, I was happy to have a name because over the years, my concern had been
What was wrong with
um,
me?
what was happening to me because I'd become a regular patient at my doctor's who kept wondering why I kept coming in because they couldn't find anything wrong with me.
Mm.
At some point, she thought I was hypochondriac.
That means you were just inventing the
Yes,
symptoms.
like I had a paranoia for
Mm.
sickness,
Mm.
you know. So when I got that diagnosis in 2015, I was relieved. So I started reading up on it, and then I had a fair idea, and so I began a lot of research
Okay. I'll,
on
I'll
it.
I'll let you stop there, and then I'll let Liz take over. What was your diagnosis? Can you share your personal story shortly? Yeah. I'm sure it's almost identical to what you've said, but I'll let her talk.
Okay. Basically, I started noticing slight stiffness on my right wrist,
Okay.
which happened while I was
Okay.
writing my final exams at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I had a professional course I did there. So at the exam hall, that was when I noticed my right wrist was kind of stiff.
Mm.
So I didn't think of anything. I thought maybe the rigors of preparing for the exams and all that must have taken its toll on me. So I continued like that. That's 2009, thereabout, upward to 2010. So it was towards the end of 2010 that I really knew that something serious was going on.
Mm.
So luckily, someone directed me to a hospital, and I was so fortunate. I met someone who had a good idea
Mm.
and sent me to do the relevant blood work and all. In fact, during that time, my blood sample was taken out of the country for analysis, and when the result came back, they said I had autoimmune related condition called scleroderma. So from there, I was referred to Harvey Road, Lutz Dermatology Clinic, Harvey Road. That again was another saving grace, if I may say so, because immediately I got in there, I met my dermatologist. Luckily, she had a good idea what was going on.
Mm.
So from there, a rheumatologist came in, and I would say the battle started.
Thank you. Okay, Violet, you're back in, and I'd already talked about you and credited you for creating some awareness, because I think I'd even seen your videos before I even got diagnosed myself. So I just wanted you to share shortly what your personal journey with scleroderma has been from diagnosis till now.
Oh, mine was very tough at the beginning because everyone I was thinking like most people, not everyone though, was thinking I was pretending to be sick. Even
Mm.
doctors.
Mm.
A doctor, a doctor told me I should stop pretending to be sick
Mm.
because when mine started, it was around 2014. That was after my national diploma.
Mm.
So I noticed discoloration, like inflammations around my back, like burnt spots and all that.
Mm.
I was getting darker.
Mm.
I was getting, although I'm not a fair person, but I'm not as dark as I was getting. I was getting darker. My palms were swollen, and we went to different places. Even how do they call them? Aba doctors. Those that are doing native medicine. Everyone is just trying their luck.
Yeah, because
The
everybody
hospital will
thinks it's a
say,
spiritual
yes,
attack.
Exactly.
yes. Some will say it's a spiritual attack. Yes.
Mm.
One even said that it was the man I slept with that is bigger than me. Oh God.
What does that mean?
Then Then, as at 20, after we walked around different private hospitals, big hospitals, we spent lots of money. But next thing I noticed, they're just giving me big complex,
Mm.
big complex, big complex. So we went to Delta State Teaching Hospital, Gara.
Mm.
When we got there, we saw one specialist. The guy was like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Mm.
Everything, your blood work, your test you did, everything is okay. So we went back to General at Warri that we were going to. So they say nothing is wrong with me there, and they say Delta State and Delta Hospital is the best here in Delta State. So if they say nothing is wrong with me there.
Then
So
you're
let me just
pretending.
continue with it. If they are giving me big complex and some other thing, I just go there. I go there, they touch me, check BP, check sugar, I'll go back home, stuff like that. I just continue until one doctor met me in that the same general was going. He said he's going to refer me back to that Delta. But this time around, he's going to write me a note to see a particular doctor.
Mm.
That so he knows what is going on with me, but if there is no just want to get
Mm.
because then I could not move my neck. My
Mm.
neck was stiff with pains. I could not look my left, I could not look my right. Even my back, I could not look just one direction. So it was like, you cannot handle me here again. And if I keep coming here, they are just stopping me here. And I will end up losing my life.
Mm.
Because what is suspecting, let me just go to the place with directing me to see. Because I was telling him that I've gone there, I will not go again. In fact, those people that are just even annoying me, say I should go as long as he's writing me. So when we got there, luckily, the doctor he gave me notes to see. They carried my file because I already had file in the hospital. That's why I stopped going there. So they took my file to the doctor and they did some blood samples and the rest. Like a month later, yes now, or even more. That was when, which is in 2018. This whole thing started 2014.
Wow. 4 years.
In 2018, yes. In 2018, I was finally diagnosed after many blood work, tests, and all that.
Mm.
That was when my doctor told me I had scleroderma. I was relieved, kind of. It was
Yeah,
painful for
everybody
me, but
has said that's one recurring theme. Everybody has said relief. Now,
yeah,
Sanusi Olubukola, you're not a scleroderma patient, but
Yeah.
you're a lupus patient, lupus warrior, as we call ourselves.
Ourselves, yes.
You know, so can you just what do you want to share about your journey?
Oh, okay. All right. Then I actually, first of all, want to say to all scleroderma patients out there that we are rooting for you. Happy
Thank
World
you.
Scleroderma Day. And then my journey with scleroderma is actually not my own story, but a story of lupus warriors having lupus and scleroderma.
So there can be an overlap.
There is an overlap. So that
Mm.
is why I am here with you today
Mm.
to tell you that lupus and scleroderma have similar symptoms.
Mm.
You know, the only thing is that scleroderma is more prominent and it shows on the skin,
Mm.
while lupus, the discord type, is not as the physical presentation is not as prominent as that of scleroderma.
Scleroderma.
So as a lupus warrior, I go through virtually 85% of what the scleroderma warriors go through. And my diagnosis was like I had 10 years of wrong diagnosis. I became symptomatic 2008 But I was able to meet a dermatologist that told me I have lupus 10 years later. That's 2018.
Wow.
So I've been through a lot of medical
Misdiagnosis.
misdiagnoses, seeing doctors and not getting anything out of it. But luckily for me, 2021, I came across the doctors for all autoimmune diseases, which are called the rheumatologists.
Yeah.
So the story became more interesting, and I was given hope that I will definitely have reversal period once I adhere to my medicational routines. And as said by everyone, I got relieved.
Thank you so much. You see, one thing that is a common thread amongst all the things that everybody has said is one, the diagnosis is it doesn't come on time, and it's not only common to us in Nigeria, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
With almost all autoimmune diseases. Why? Because they mimic all sorts of other conditions. So it's very difficult, for people to say, okay, this is what is wrong with you. It's after they've been treating you for something and you don't get better that they now say, okay, maybe it's an autoimmune condition. But even some people don't even advert their minds to that, so that's one thing. And we were talking about the autoimmune scleroderma day in last suit on Friday, and one thing that the rheumatologist Dr. Akim Olashebikon was saying, that they are now telling doctors themselves and training doctors on how to spot early, because when you spot something early and you start treatment earlier, there's a better chance that the person has a better quality of life and standard of living. Thank you everyone for your short introductions. Now the things, and I know Biola Shagun Williams has talked about her feeling when she got first diagnosed. What were your fears? We know what your relief was. What were your fears, and how have you overcome them?
So is that question for me?
Yes, it is for you. Yes.
Oh, okay, what were my fears? Well, at this point, I didn't have any fear, not anymore. The reason being that there was now a clear-cut path, investigation, research, acquisition of information, using the knowledge acquired to gain traction with your healing. There was absolutely no fear for me because, number one, I didn't have any fear of death, which is grounded in my faith, because I know that if I die, I'm going to meet the Lord. So I had no fear whatsoever. What I needed to achieve was to spend more time with my children. I felt the need to spend more time because I was like, in case so, especially before I got that diagnosis, I just had the urge to always, every holiday, maximize my time, leave memories with my children and all of that. Because I had experienced a tragic loss prior to that time, and which I think is one of the reasons why I had trigger. I had experienced emotional pain from the loss of a very loved one a few years before then. This was in 2005. So yeah, and then of course going through a lot of emotional trauma can trigger an autoimmune condition.
In fact,
Especially
research has shown that most women autoimmune conditions are suffered by women, and that a lot of it is related to stress. The stress triggers it off. Like I'm not a doctor, I'm not a rheumatologist, but the rheumatologist said that when most times it's something in us, genes. It's a genetic thing that lies dormant. And then stress factors, environment, maybe the environment that you're in, but stress and maybe the foods that you ate, something just triggers it off. It might not trigger it off in somebody else, but it will trigger it off in you, and then that comes up. But over the world, increasingly, they're seeing that a lot of women suffer from autoimmune conditions because of stress and because they depress their emotions. So that's
Yeah.
very instructive to everybody that is listening to us. Stress is and emotional imbalance is one of the factors that brings out this autoimmune conditions in us.
Absolutely. I agree.
Thank you
I
so
mean,
much. Yeah.
yeah. Should I continue talking
No,
or you're
just wait a
moving?
while and let me ask Liz, what our fears were and how has she coped with them.
Okay. Naturally, one is afraid from the onset. But immediately I got my diagnosis and I met with my doctors and they started explaining everything to me. And I also went online, did some research and all. My fears started coming down a bit, but it wasn't that I wasn't afraid. I was still afraid. Even now, at times, I still get very scared because I wonder what's going to happen 2, 3 years down the line. Will I wake up one day and it has taken a turn for the worse, or will my body just maintain this truce, or if I may use the word ceasefire? Yeah, ceasefire, yeah. So if we just maintain this level and the thing is just on its own and I'm on my own, everybody is happy, that kind of thing. But naturally, one will be afraid because so many things will scare you. You wonder, oh, will I be able to cope? Will I be able to do the things I used to do before? But as time goes on, I started taking medication, started going for hospital appointments. People around me became aware. I started getting help, support. Help and support alone doesn't have to be
Financial.
financial and everything. Understanding is key. If someone understands, oh, why you can't come out today, someone understands why you can't do this, someone like for instance now, my reach is impaired. I can't stretch far up to take something.
Yeah.
So somebody seeing me will say, okay, this is your hand, you have your hand now. Why can't you reach and take it? That kind of thing. So for someone, if I just tell somebody, oh, I'm sorry, I can't reach that far, person understands. So it goes a long way. So basically, I'm able to navigate through the fears, and above all, I think of myself first at times. What is good for me is what I'll do.
Yeah.
You understand? So what is good for me is what I'll do, and I try to tailor my life
According to you, what you can bear.
exactly.
Okay, and that was going to what you ended with was what I was going to ask Violet. How has the quality of your life changed, or how has your life changed since you were diagnosed?
It changed a whole lot. Like I don't let people see that part of like
We can't hear you well.
this
Can you
is
speak out clearer?
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I said it changed a whole lot because like dreams fade away. Just like what you've been expecting, you can't achieve them because of your health. Stuff like that, like me that I used to tell myself that me that I've always wanted to see myself on the way as a model, as a runway as a model. I'm always at home.
Yeah,
Even
because
for
you have
people
the
to
height
give me
for
job.
it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you. I said you have the height
Okay,
to be a model. So yeah.
yes, that's what I have always wanted
She's
to
still one.
do. So I was not like I'm always at home. I'm not saying like my dreams are going down. It was the first thing at first. It was the first thing. But I learned to love myself the way I am.
Yeah, because you have
Why
a
should I
great,
be
great
why should I be
followership on
sad for
TikTok.
over what I did not cause? I did not cause it.
Yeah.
I did not cause it, so I can't kill myself over it. So I learned to do things to help me get over that depression. I was very seeing myself as this fine girl. You know the kind of thing when you're growing up, everyone is looking out for you. You're always here, you're always there, and all of a sudden you're isolating yourself. People think maybe everything thinking is HIV.
Yeah.
So that kind of depressing thing, like I'm just on my own. But I overcome it. I told myself since I did not cause it, why should I be hiding myself and all that? So that was how I overcome those thoughts.
Thank you so much, Violet, because you're much younger than I think all of us on this program. And I was on your page on Instagram, and you just did a recent video telling people that what was their business with telling you what to do and what not to do. People were saying you should go and sit down, you shouldn't show your face, and
I should stop coming online. Am I not ashamed to show myself like this? Why I go change? Like why we have that thing? Did I cause it?
No.
Did I create myself?
No.
don't leave myself like this. So there's no reason for that. I still do what I want to do
Mm.
as long as I have the strength. In fact, this thing is helping me. One of the things that has been helping me because I noticed that once you are sick and you always stay in one place, it makes it get worse.
Yeah.
Like try to do something.
Mm.
With the little strength you have, engage yourself.
Mm.
Like do something to take your mind off that illness. And it works.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it works.
Thank
Slowly, but it works.
Yeah. Thank you, Violet. We'll come back to you. For me, my life has changed significantly. Those some people might not say they see it because I'm still out and about, but I know the kind of energy I used to have before, and I know what my energy levels are now, and I know
Exactly.
how to pace myself. So there are some days I don't go out at all, not because I don't have anywhere to go, but I know that if I dare do this, so of course an autoimmune condition, it changes, it affects the quality of your life, doesn't it?
Of course it
Yes,
Yeah.
does.
Sanusi. Yeah.
It does because my own case was lupus, and there's this rash we call the mala rash,
That's the
the
butterfly rash.
butterfly rash. I also not everybody has it on the face,
Mm,
so it makes it like an invisible dealing. I
mm.
had my on my at my back
Oh,
and my
wow.
upper extremities, so people don't say it. Maybe probably because the way I dress at times. But then, um, they were there. Even my
Okay.
family members were like, "You complain of pain. Is it not this small thing?
Rash.
It's just this small thing." So it actually later made me a bit withdrawn. At first, I don't talk to people anymore. I felt since people are not understanding, it's an invisible battle, unlike scleroderma, that it's actually gives some presentations like the stiffness, the skin discoloration. So, I was actually like, okay, let me just be me. I had anxiety. I was scared death could come at any time. Like Abiola said, I was just like my kids. Then my husband, I told him, just move on with life. So one thing I did was to go viral with a video
Mm,
calling for help.
mm.
That's who knows this disease called lupus. So it was there I got some
More people.
people to tell me, wow, you have lupus, I have lupus too. So I relaxed and
That it
listened.
wasn't it wasn't only
It wasn't
you.
only you. Exactly.
Okay, so now that we've come to that. We've talked about support, but I want to talk about coping strategies before I go straight to stop support. What practical tools, routines, or support system have helped you manage this condition physically, mentally, and emotionally? Abiola, please.
Okay, so I am very grateful to God that my number one support has always been God and my knowledge of God. And I'm not saying this superficially, I'm saying it based on experience and having
We can't hear you anymore. Abiola is off. We can't hear her.
lived it.
Okay.
God exposed me to,
Okay.
for example, I met some people who exposed me to the knowledge of maintaining my health through herbs. I had to stop taking all the orthodox medication because when I read all the side effects, I didn't give it the chance to begin to have the side effects on me because, I was concerned about protracting the illness by using those orthodox medication.
Okay.
And so when I discussed it with my rheumatologist, he wasn't aware of any of it, you know. And I didn't blame him because he's an orthodox person, and they go by scientific data and analysis. So one of the things I had to cut off was sugar, which I learned from my integrative doctor. This was a doctor who practiced both orthodox and holistic
Naturopathy.
medicine.
Mm.
So I had to cut off anything that would exacerbate the inflammation on my body.
Mm.
So anything that would quickly break down to sugar, like bread, like rice, like starchy foods, all of those things, I had to avoid them for quite a lengthy period of time so that it will not aggravate the condition, because I saw a direct correlation between sugar and scleroderma. Because anytime I ate something that was sugary, my skin, my body will start reacting immediately. So I had to cut off all of that. And then I began to look at the things that I can eat that will help me. So along the way, there were too many stumbles, and because at some point you'll be like, what will I eat? I became so skinny. I mean, for a person who was always skinny, or who was slim, rather, I was now very skinny, because of abstaining from so many things. Anyway, I soon found a way around it. Like I had mentioned to you before, I found ginger, right, from online. I can't remember what I was reading, but I found ginger. I said, hey, ginger, okay, let me try ginger. So I started drinking ginger morning and night. And that's when I noticed that the pain on my body started receding, because I was in a lot of pain. So that was when the pain started going. I started going, and people would often ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level? It used to be like 15, 18, or over 10. And then it started receding, until at some point it was like 30%. And then I started noticing if I eat something, the pain will go up a bit. If I don't eat it, so I was able to monitor what I was doing, and then the pain left completely. It was just one day, just like,
you're not in pain anymore.
I'm not feeling pain anymore. And this was just because I was at this point, I had stopped using anything. I was just drinking ginger morning and night. That was all I was doing.
Thank you.
And that was what helped me.
Thank you so much. They always say with autoimmune conditions that people react differently. There's no one plan, no one treatment plan for everybody, and sometimes we have to get in tune with our bodies to know what exactly will work for our bodies and what will not work for our bodies. Liz, what helped you?
Okay, I'll say basically what helped me so far has been trying to rest more. Also, I still take my medications religiously, and I do my blood work to monitor all internal organs and everything. And thankfully, this is my 15th year living with this condition. And
15th year since you were diagnosed?
Yes, 15th year. And all my blood work, organs, everything, the test results comes back okay. So I've not had any adverse effect at all as a result of my medications. Though on the side, I also try to eat healthy, incorporate so much vegetables and a lot of protein to my diet right now. And that's on the diet and all that side. Then physically, I'll say my wardrobe has changed because right now I have to cover up more because of the discolorations, which over time at times starts fading on its own gradually. And I use sunscreen if I want to go out under the sun. And I try to wear longer clothes to cover up properly. And
makeup.
I just dress. I've spent a fortune on that. I've spent a fortune. In fact, there's a joke in my circle of friends now. If you want to bring me out, it is going to cost you a great deal to bring me out because I'm the big masquerade. You want to bring me out. But so far it's been fun. And another of my coping mechanism is my sense of humor. I try to find humor in everything. Like there's a very good family, a relative of mine. Whenever I go to her house, I just tell her the hunter is here, bring out all your meat. So laughter helps.
Laughter is medicine.
Yeah,
it is medicine.
Because like in my books now, I just say, okay, if I can laugh at myself, laugh at my condition, there's nothing you want to throw at me.
Yeah. Violet, what has been your coping strategy? I know you've said some, but could you give us some? Maybe physically, mentally, and emotionally? Yeah.
Physically, exercise has helped me a lot. My routine exercise has helped me. Before now, once I seen my video, I wasn't walking. But now I can walk very well. And let me add to what I don't know if it's Mrs. Abiola said. Like when she said to stop sugar, and if person like me stop sugar, it will affect me. So Scleroderma works with everyone differently. Even the ginger she's taking that works for her. If I take it, it triggers my ulcer.
Wow.
Understand?
Yeah.
So it works differently for everyone. If I stop taking anything that has to do with sugar, my sugar level will go down. You know how dangerous it can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with Scleroderma, it's different with everyone. Apart from the exercise routine, I try to make my happiness a priority. I'll do anything to make me happy. I create my own happiness.
Yeah.
I create my own. I can just be on my own. I can even be dancing without song.
Yeah.
I'll just start recording myself,
Mm.
watch it and laugh. So before you even come and laugh at me on my page, other person will be there. Other person will laugh.
You've
I
laughed
think
at
it's funny
yourself
enough to laugh.
already.
Yes, I think it's funny enough to laugh. That's why I post it so that we to laugh. So I just
Thank you.
feel like it's up there. That's what I've been
Thank
talking
you. Thank you, Sanusi.
Okay. It's been. I'm just looking at the coping techniques, and I'm
Of
seeing a
everyone.
lot of similarities. So the first thing that happened in my journey was just acceptance.
Acceptance.
You
Yeah.
know, and then I just was like, so this is me now. Then I accepted me. Then faith came more because I'm locked in hands of you alone. So it's become like God telling you, come, it's time for you and me. So I became more intentional about
Your
my
faith.
religious activities. Then I celebrate every wins, even if it's for me to move from the, because there was time I don't work as well. Just like scleroderma does, lupus does that too. So it leads to paralysis. So any little thing I was able to do, I put it to a video. People keep asking me, must you tell the world everything? Then I tell people, you don't know what strength it takes for me to
Mm.
do that. So it might not be for you, it might be for someone.
Yeah.
So gradually, I started being positive about everything. So I do away with trying to control things. I let go easily.
Mm.
Anything that I don't have control over, it's not in my world. So it assisted me in focusing on me. Then I used to do for people. I was out there jumping around, stress. Then I realized that I need to do more for
For myself.
myself. So I put up modification in food, like Abiola said, the use of some spices,
Spicy.
and change my pattern of eating. I started taking white meat, rabbits, and people will ask me, "So you eat rabbit?" I said, I have to be on white meat. So I became more intentional, more purposeful about life. Then it took me to starting the NGO, Reg Support Foundation. So I had people to talk to.
So
Every time we smile together, people understand my pain. I understand theirs. So I created my own world, and I also opened my doors to the world.
great, 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 great. You see, the thing about a condition like scleroderma, which I want everyone to know, is that it tends to make you want to isolate yourself.
Exactly.
But isolation is not the answer, and it's
At
for
all.
everything, whether it's cancer, whether it's any other autoimmune condition, the diabetes, whatever it is. A lot of people, I know a lot of people that suffer from different kinds of conditions that will not tell anybody.
And the
You know,
reality is that the more you talk about it,
You will
the
even get
closer to
help.
help. Yeah.
Yes, you will get
The
help.
more
You
you
will
talk
get
about
somebody,
it.
because the thing about it is that when you feel you are all alone,
Exactly.
that is devastating.
Exactly.
That is
Depressive.
it's depressing.
It's depressing,
When you think you are all alone. But if you see somebody else that says, "Oh, this happens to you, it happens to me too," it gives you such a, okay, I'm not alone.
Sense of
You know, sense
belonging.
of belonging, sense of relief. Okay, if
Yes.
this person can cope with this, then
And I
I can
should be
cope
able
with
to.
it. So it's an encouragement. So to everyone listening to us, whatever you're going through, just know that isolation is not it. Isolation will do more harm
Than good.
than good. And I like what Sanisi said, acceptance. You know, I always believe I preach on acceptance. Until you accept that this is where I am, this is what is happening to me, then you can't move on. But when you continue to deny it, you see, for example, maybe a lump on your breast, you deny it, but it's still growing.
Yeah.
And one day you won't be able to deny it again.
Exactly.
So the earlier we accept some things and move on, the better for us. Who was going to say something? Okay. So can you before we round up, because we'll soon be out of time, I want to ask each and every one of us, what are the biggest misconceptions about scleroderma that you would like to correct today? That's one. And if anyone has been diagnosed and is listening right now, what words of encouragement or advice would you give them? So first of all, what's the biggest misconception you would like to correct, and what word of advice will you give to anybody that's been diagnosed with scleroderma? Biola? Abiola.
Okay, first of all, it's not contagious. It's not an infectious disease or condition, because I experienced not only shock in people who saw me while the disease was active. When they saw the discoloration on my skin, for somebody who had been, I was always, the cynosure of fashion, always dressing up, my makeup intact. I didn't wear a lot of makeup, but, everything was being an actress, So but subsequent, when scleroderma now came, I just stopped wearing makeup completely. I couldn't bear all that plastering. I just could not. So I stopped. Till now, I don't wear makeup except when I absolutely have to go for a wedding, but on a regular day, I don't wear makeup at all. So, yeah, I experienced some people being very reluctant about touching you, as in shaking your hand. I experienced somebody, removing their hands when they suddenly see how discolored my hands were, and people staring at you, and all that. And like someone said earlier, you have to accept yourself. I was like, you know what? I love myself the way I am. If God say, and my children, especially my daughter, who was growing up at the time and seeing such level of strength, was amazed that, Mom, you're so strong. Because I'll go out, and like I said to you before, Sister Tara, I had to go and do a job at a hotel, and it was AMPCA. I was doing a recce of the space, and all my colleagues were there, all dressed up and everything. I just could not be bothered. That desire to dress up,
To
my
impress
sense of
others.
vanity, my sense of vanity had like died.
Mm.
I just went like that. And instead of saying shock, because at this time I started talking about it publicly and posting it, they were not accepting. People will accept you once you accept yourself. They do not have a choice. So that's one. And then like everybody has been able to have a voice, give a voice to it, live with themselves, love themselves. Once you love yourself, you accept yourself, other people will not have a choice but to do the same.
Thank you.
And they will draw from that strength as well.
Thank you. So I'll go because it's quick. Liz?
Okay. Another misconception is once somebody close to you has this condition, is manifesting the symptoms and all, the tendency to drag that person off to one church or the other, to one spiritualist or the other.
It's a spiritual attack.
You think you are being bewitched, someone is jealous of you and is doing things to you somewhere. So it's all wrong. That's not it. I will advise people that once you notice something that you don't understand happening to you, your best bet is to go to the government-owned hospitals, not these private, individually owned hospitals. I don't have anything against them, but in the government-owned hospitals, you have specialists, you have consultants, so they can be able to catch whatever it is early. And the earlier they catch it, the earlier you start fighting, the better for you. Because scleroderma, as of today, has no cure. But with early diagnosis and you do the proper things, you can ameliorate the damage
Condition,
it will do to your body.
Okay. Thank you so much.
The misconceptions are a lot, but to our traditional people, these things are not the popular emere, ogbanje, and a lot of our warriors have gone through broom beating. Some have been at the riverside to throw apples, fruits, give to the river. So it's not diabolic. It's not a spiritual problem. It is purely medical. And another thing to our warriors out there, we are rooting for you all, and we are telling you your pain, whichever it is not a death sentence. The way you respond to it is very, very important. So we call out on you all to live it well, be positive, stay happy, celebrate every of your wins, either big or small, and make every moment count.
Thank you. Violet?
For me, I will tell them, don't say you're dying anytime soon. You're not dying anytime soon. Figure out your life. Figure out what will help you. In fact, look for what will help you in money. Don't like you want to be a liability to anybody. Because once you are like a liability to people, they will like run away from you. Even your own family member will get tired of you.
True.
Of spending money on you. So you're not dying anytime soon. Accept yourself. Take your life. Live your life happy. In fact, make your happiness a priority. Very, very, very important. Avoid anything that will trigger your anger, emotions, like that. Just be happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We've run out of time. But as we come to the end of today's show, I want to leave you with this truth. And I want to thank each and everybody that has, spoken and come out of their comfort zone to talk, to create awareness, to tell people that, look, you can be different, but you're still human. You're still the same. You still have the same desires that everybody has. You might be going through something, but it is not the end of your life. So thank you so much, Abiola Shegun Williams, our actress. If you've watched Tinzel, you've seen her in that show. Thank you, Violet. She's our ambassador, more like it. Violet is very active on TikTok. She has over 30 something thousand followers, and through her, a lot of awareness has come up. Thank you so much, Liz. Liz is the author of a book, Living with Scleroderma. I dare say it's the first book to be written in this part, about scleroderma. And she's been an advocate. She said 15 years of living with it now, Thank you so much. I'm still going strong. Thank you, Sanusi. Sanusi is the founder. Sanusi Olubokola is the founder of the Lureg Support Foundation, which is a foundation, mainly targeted towards lupus, but other autoimmune conditions. And she's been doing such a lovely job. She's recently raised money for, people that can't pay, because one thing we have to talk about also maybe later is about the cost, of medication, very, very expensive and
not readily
available. And then even the professionals, the doctors, like Dr. Olaoshebiko was saying, on Friday, that we have about 30 or less than 30 doctors in
Lagos.
Yes, 5 rheumatologists in Lagos and less than 30 in the whole of Nigeria. Those are the things that we as warriors, as conquerors go through, but every story you've heard today was more than a testimony. It was a triumph. It is a triumph. And each voice carried not just pain, but power, not just diagnosis, but dignity, not just struggle, but strength. So thank you so much for teaching us all what it means to live fully, even when the body fights against itself, because you're living your lives fully. And to those who are listening, who may be walking a similar journey, know that you're not alone. Your pain is valid, your life is valuable, and your story matters. And to our health professionals, like I said, on Friday, please don't jackpot and leave us. We are begging you. Please don't jackpot all and leave us. Because to have just 30 rheumatologists in the whole of Nigeria is cause for concern. And it's not only autoimmune conditions that a rheumatologist sees. He sees many other things. There's arthritis, there are all sorts of things, that he sees. So for the healthcare professionals, and we're lucky that our rheumatologists, I must say, have done such a good job. They're so considerate, so kind, so compassionate. We want to thank them for their care, and may they continue to treat us, And to the society and leaders, please, let's invest in rare disease awareness, in patient care, in visibility for the unseen, and in more monies to be given for medication, more subsidized medication for those that really, really need it. Health insurance and all that. So until next time, I'm really, really out of time. It's Tara Aisida. This has been Life with Tara. And next Sunday at 1 p.m. at this time, we'll have another topic that we'll discuss. And we always discuss, viable topics that nobody talks about. So stay strong, stay still, sing, and keep telling your story. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The Women Radio membership, they connect you with other market women, the ones who get their own business, students, so women where they stay house, even farmers and pensioners for the 36 states of Nigeria. As a Women Radio member, we go to promote your business for radio. You fit win better prizes, and you fit even come our event. Just go download the Women Radio app today, make you hear yourself for radio. You fit go register free on top wfm917.com, and make sure say you join the Facebook Women Radio membership group. The Women Radio membership gets support from MacArthur Foundation and Nigeria Media Innovation Program, NAMI.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.